Again, I get the fancy dinner today. Mine's red ruby kraut, my normal salad that I have been having lately, the romaine and the red ruby kraut and the hemp, toasted hemp seeds, and then today is almond oil, and I put blueberries in as well. And so there's my smoothie. James is having a banana split yogurt. I'll talk about that in a minute. And he's having, this was his request. So he picked that out, and that's what he's having. So we're going to talk about Columbo. This is the first season, and those other things. And yeah, I'll show you a few things here. Oh, there we go. So this is my outfit for today. I think it's awesome.
It's pretty fancy.
Yeah.
She arranged for everything except I did most of the time.
Most of the time. But next time I think I can do all of the time.
I hope so. And boy, I was doing it backwards because I just woke up. I'd been sleeping on the rug.
I have a little bluebird on this jacket.
Yeah, it's a nice tie though. It fits with
I got it for you. But you haven't worn, I got you a bunch of ties years ago, and I was looking for my belts on the back of your door where my belts were. And I found all these ties, and I'm like, hey,
it's pretty sweet, eh?
I may as well wear all these ties that I picked up.
You must have had them up there, or maybe I did, because this is not all crumpled. You know what I'm saying?
No, it was hanging there.
Yeah, so someone provided for that.
I put them there.
Yeah, that's good.
Years ago, but I'd forgotten that I had. And I bought a bunch of belts, so I'm wearing belts lately because my back's been okay. But I'm just doing it for the dinners because I don't know if my back is actually well enough to wear belts.
Belts are just kind of decoration anyway.
Yeah. So when I dress up for the dinner, I can wear the belts. But these pants, I think I might wear these pants all the time because they're very, very comfortable. So I think they look pretty styling. But yeah, so how's your KD?
It's good.
So this yogurt, this banana yogurt, and we've had the these things, these Bear chocolate coconut chips. We've shown them in the past, and they have quite a lot of saturated fat, of course, because they're coconut chips. But we thought, well, if it's just like a little sprinkle in, like for a dessert, I don't know if it really matters that much. So, yeah, so the banana yogurt, I guess I could show you the nutritional information on that because it's here. And, but it'll be sideways because I don't want to knock James's stuff off of there. So, 90 calories and quite a lot of carbs. But anyway, I think he'll like that. And in our smoothies, James is having a few blueberries in his smoothie, lots of grapes, and a little bit of strawberries, and some of this stuff. And I really wouldn't recommend this. So you can see that's the ingredients there. And there's a lot of stuff there. But you'll notice with this that this is not it's not organic. So that's when you're talking about soy, you know, when you're not organic, you could pretty much guess you're consuming some Roundup.
There's a this is like a chemistry class here.
And the ingredients on there, yeah. So
it's the serious stuff. Mm-hmm. And as Pauline said, not necessarily recommended.
No, but I got it for, like you can see that it had been 50% off, and then that was crossed out, and I got it I think for $5 for a canister of that. And I thought, well, maybe. But
one can is not going to kill you. You hope.
So, anyway, yeah, Columbo first season got top of the stack for me. This is volume 2. I don't know if I can even get volume 3 or volume 1 in our system, library system, but that's okay.
He's looking as confused as ever.
So there's, what's his name from Green Acres?
Eddie Arnold?
Yep, he's in this.
In one of those? Or
Yeah,
in
one of the. Yeah, it says there's a whole bunch of people listed on the back that. Yeah, Eddie Albert.
Oh, Eddie. Why do I call him Eddie Arnold?
I don't.
Eddie Albert, okay.
Because the pig's name's Arnold.
I love that
That's
pig.
why you
I'm
made
telling you,
that
he's the
mistake.
real star of the show, aside from Ava Gabor.
Yeah, and Leslie Nielsen on this volume 2.
He
So-
would be playing a heavy guy.
Huh?
He wasn't playing a comedy role in that, right?
No, but
Yeah.
he's played in mysteries before.
Exactly right. He used to play the heavy and stuff like that, and then he transferred over to doing. His brother was a conservative.
I brought you the spoon for the yogurt thing and the fork for.
Doesn't
You know
matter.
what? It doesn't matter.
Anyway,
It's kind of funny.
his
though.
brother used to be a real vicious conservative politician here in Canada.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, that was hilarious. They're both heavies, real creeps.
Mm.
But, well,
I should
with
bring the
Leslie
camera.
Nelson, he's just playing the real creep.
So, I'm gonna bring this forward a little bit. There we go. Because, well, I have you way out there. You may as well sit at the table with us. So, yeah, I don't really know what to say, but watching season 1, everybody should have realized, yeah, this show is going to be a big show just from the first season. So, it's great. There's no one like him.
Yep.
The Housemaid. You see a lot of boob in this. And, well, a lot of skin in general, I suppose, but yeah, the one woman's, can't remember her name, but we've seen her. Amanda Seyfried is in this.
Okay.
And Sydney Sweeney.
Irish, eh?
Yeah, Sweeney is Millie, and Seyfried was Nina.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Sweeney's boobs. Holy moly.
I think they were
I
semi-natural.
think they were too. So, anyway, worth seeing just for that. No, honestly, we enjoyed it. There were some things that didn't seem to add up so well, you know. I mean, this guy, he really pays attention to detail. He's very particular. And I don't think that utensil would have slipped by him. Yeah. So there's a problem there. And you're relying on it. So, and then with the whole, I had guessed, one thing, I guessed, honestly, the story I came up with was way better. but that's not what turned out. So,
Well, you figured it out way earlier than I did.
Yeah.
I figured out one item, I can't remember what it was.
yeah.
But it's the usual.
But I don't want to say what I figured out, or it'll give it all away.
I don't want to give it away. It's,
Because it is actually interesting, and I think most people would think it's
I think it's
worth
actually
watching.
quite well done.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, I don't want to give anything away, but my story was better than theirs. Theirs is pretty good. And I did figure out something from it, but I'd spun it off and from there in a very interesting way.
The acting wasn't really, really choice, but it wasn't bad either. So.
Yeah. Between the
I
lines.
mean, there was
Bond
the guy was largely eye candy,
Sure.
although his
And-
face kind of looked. I mean, you put him up against Tom Selleck, and it's kind of hilarious. But
Yeah.
he's got a bunch of stud muscles and stuff.
Sure
like
he
that.
does. Yeah.
And the women weren't that good either, but they weren't bad.
They're pretty.
Yeah, kind of workmanlike performances.
Okay.
When you dealing with Hollywood nowadays, or any time, that's about all you can ask, really. Okay.
All right. So, between the lines, this one
Wow.
so bad.
Wow.
I don't know why they bothered to re-release this onto Blu-ray. 1977. Comedy? Not really. That's a stretch.
Yeah.
Jeff Goldblum, I mean, he did a great job. He always does.
He always
right?
plays himself, and
And-
he does it so well.
Yeah. But honestly, yeah, I don't know. You can talk about this.
No.
I'm gonna get eating.
I'm embarrassed. This is aimed at someone of my generation.
Yeah.
There are parts of it that actually were semi-realistic, like they have a story meeting, and these folks are putting out a newspaper. And I used to work on the Meters, the student newspaper at the University of Lethbridge. And the story meetings here are much like the story meetings at the Meters. One difference, the Meters actually tried to follow something like Robert's Rules of Order, so you had to, there was a chairman or whatever it was, and you had to be recognized by the chair in order to say something. I almost never said anything. The one thing I made sure, and then things had to be done by both. So someone had to propose something, and then someone had to make a motion, and someone had to second the motion. And then you had to vote. I always voted against everything.
Why?
Just fun. Stuff was going to get passed. They were all like a bunch of sheep, right? I just wanted people to know that I was semi-awake. And I'm not doing the sheep-like thing. People, there's a reason why George Orwell in Animal Farm has the sheep as people who they are what's the term? The passive workers, right? Anyway, women in this are way too thin. I think each and every one. It was scary. It was like, you might call it cocaine chic. Men and women. But women more than men. There was this period where, sometime in the mid-70s, where cocaine became fashionable again. The first blush of it was maybe around 1970 or something like that. Really stupid. There's one guy there who's kind of considered handsome, and I've seen him in later roles, and he lost his hair and put on a huge amount of weight. He ended up being backup stuff in TV shows, if I'm not mistaken. The music critic was Jeff Goldblum. That's what I was in the Mirrors. I was also later on a copy editor. And it was hilarious because I also did the occasional sports column too. I just, no one on the Mirrors, everyone was hanging way out in the left wing. Except for me and a few other more enlightened souls. Believe me, I wasn't hanging out in the right wing either. But I didn't count myself as a liberal, but I'm sure a lot of folks there considered me almost as bad or worse. But at any rate, 101 minutes, that's not so bad. Could have been shorter, of course. It could have been like 1 minute. And that might have been...
Yeah, speaking of boobs, there were a lot in there. And honestly, I think they just...
Yeah, it seemed gratuitous, though.
Yeah, they realized that, oh wait, we don't have a story here worth watching.
So how can we take people's minds
put some
off
boobs in it.
They weren't even showing many man boobs or whatever. Or, like it was fairly, I'd have to say something like sexist, right? I mean, if you're going to show off women's boobs and bones, you should be showing off guys' pecs and heinies. So, yeah, it got reviews from New York Times and the Washington Post. And those are prestigious newspapers, maybe the two most prestigious in the United States, because of course they were doing a newspaper type of thing. An appealing comedy about growing up after you've already grown up. Yeah, well, you know, they're kind of making fun. Like, people would ask me, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I'd say mature, you know, that sort of stuff. It's basically the same point. Only I got it over in less than a minute. An extraordinary cast and winning performances. Winning, not Academy Award winning. The cast was, especially when you're looking at Jeff Goldblum, was basically wasted. You don't. No, he's featured right down front. There are some good actors in there, you know, like this guy here who got beaten up. I've seen him in things where he's playing some. Yeah, he's a short guy. He plays character roles and stuff like that. This guy here, the guy who looks like a dork, I've seen him in roles, you know, like good roles and stuff like that. So, you know, like, you don't waste. Even Mary Lou Henner was there shaking various portions of her anatomy. You didn't even see it. Like, she was playing a stripper. Right? And she was largely a stripper. No. You missed the part where she was a stripper. Anyway, I know because we were out, I think, taking care of the dogs. Anyway, yeah, it's just a waste of film, waste of time, and a waste of talent. Thoroughly enjoyable. Leonard Maltin. He's the guy who was with, they used to have Ebert, and was Maltin with him or something like that?
I thought it was Siskel and Ebert.
Siskel and Ebert, yeah, Siskel, yeah. Well, maybe when Leonard Maltin was that era, maybe he just did it by himself and stuff like that. Yeah, it was Siskel. One guy died. Ebert, was it Siskel who died early, and Ebert was just left all alone? Of course, his face was so round it kind of filled the screen anyway. So if he was doing it. Anyway, so it's recommended, but you don't watch it.
Yeah, I was shocked.
I caught her on that one. That's good, but it's usually me that gets caught. I'm catching myself because I've usually just woken up.
Yeah, definitely don't watch it.
After a walk,
it's so bad.
I'll maybe eat a few chips or something like that. And then I lie down on the
While
sofa.
it was on, I kept saying to James, so whenever you want to call it, I'll take it off.
Oh,
right?
that one!
I kept saying it.
I'm telling you, I won't say I was getting annoyed with that, but but it was getting it just emphasized to me, it's not Pauline's fault. She was trying to be kind to me.
Trying to be kind to me.
We're not watching this because I want to see it to the end. You see what I'm saying? I wasn't annoyed at Pauline, but it reminded me how much I did really want to pull the plug on it. It's kind of complicated explaining how I felt. But it was sounding like a chorus for a very long song. Let me say, shall we end it now? And it wasn't even at breaks. You know, sometimes you say, okay, maybe I'll pull the plug because there's a pause here or something. No, it was just in the middle of something like action. Oh man, was this bad. Very bad. Anyway, Anyway, anything more to talk about?
Radio.
Oh, stuff on the radio. Yeah, so Pauline was out shopping after we were coming back from it was in between our two walks. We had 2 walks today. I'm feeling pretty virtuous. And, you know, it's nice to be able to enjoy. We did Cottonwood, and then we
swung around and did the turtle pond.
It's nice to be able to enjoy doing things that are part of a virtuous cycle or something like that. See what I'm saying? We got some 2 hikes in. They were enjoyable and stuff like that. The one we have to work at. But in between, we're shopping at a place that sells. I guess we can advertise for it.
Whatever.
It's certainly a nice one. And I stayed out in the car, listening to the radio. And what was it? It was 660 on the dial. I think that's Shaw. and or whatever it's called now, Rogers.
The shirt doesn't have a top button.
Yeah, it doesn't. But you know, look at that. See, like you don't have to kill yourself doing up the top button if you because this knot looks reasonably good. You see what I'm saying? I don't. I always hated that as a kid because my dad, when he'd wash our faces, he'd screw up his face and he'd just try to
really scrub it.
It was like he was using a abrasive. It was one of those.
Maybe you guys were really dirty.
No.
You were just playing out in the mud, and he's like, "Oh, I gotta get this off."
Grit teeth kind of guy. You should have seen him drive. You know, like he's practically turning the steering wheel into powder. You know, crumble it into powder. He's just very, very nervous. Now, what were we talking about?
Oh, the radio.
I can't remember what it was. Where there's another situation where he was kind of. Gritting his teeth or whatever. It doesn't matter.
So James was listening to the radio.
Yeah, I was listening to the radio.
I heard them talking about apparently an elderly woman had went into emergency.
So this isn't an internet phenomenon. Apparently it actually happened. And this is in BC, not in Alberta. And she went into emergency, and who knows how long she had to wait. And that morning she got up out of bed, stepped down, and got horrible shooting pain down her leg. I've never had anything quite like that, but you've had it where you've been basically incapacitated. So
back is a lot better this winter. So much better. After years, like maybe, am I exaggerating 20 years?
No.
I don't think so. It's taken a long time to get to this point. And James was right, maybe not sit-ups. Maybe that's too much for me. But
well, you got to be careful. I don't believe in doing sit-ups. If you got back troubles, you got to take care of them. Don't do yoga. Don't do whatever. Yeah. But how much time we got? I
don't know. Keep going with your story. You got 7 minutes.
Okay.
You should be able to get it done.
Anyway, yeah, she gets to emergency. She's probably waited the usual 4 hours, maybe 8 hours.
More.
Anyway, they're probably sitting there, doing triage. She's an old geezer. She could die just from old age before we get around to her, so let's put her on the back burner. She gets in there, and this is a doctor, not a nurse. First thing the doctor suggests, he or she, is have you tried Metricol? No. Have you tried Maid? No.
Have you considered?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm just
Obviously, she hasn't tried it yet.
Well, you can try and fail or something like that, but I shouldn't be laughing because this is tragic.
Horrible story.
It's an says basically, do you want to try Maid? Which is made to order. No, what is it?
I don't know. Medically assisted
death, and then there'd be E on the end. A?
No, I think it's MAID, isn't it?
Medical assisted.
I don't know.
Invigorating death. Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But it doesn't need an acronym. People just need to say what it is.
They should call it.
Don't try to make it look like it's a service to a patient, to knock them off.
They should call it the Iron Maid, as in the Iron Maiden.
Yes.
Iron Maid.
Yes.
It's horrible stuff.
Yeah. Because they were talking on the radio about, it's a good thing that we have it and this and that, and but
CBC's been all for it.
For people that are terminal and get a terminal diagnosis. When did you get your terminal diagnosis?
Well, I was 56 years old.
Yeah.
And what would happen if I whacked myself back then?
Yeah.
That was like 15 years ago.
And it was because the doctors, he'd went to many, many doctors who hadn't done the job.
10, and the 11th.
And finally
did the job.
And by then
I was severely terminal.
Yes. And so they weren't giving him a terribly long time, a projected
officially
death,
18 months on the outside with treatment, but unofficially to Pauline and her mom, less than 5 months or less. 5 months on the
I thought it
outside.
was 6 or something.
No,
Anyway.
it was August the 1st, and they're saying he's not going to see the new year.
Okay.
August, September, October, November, December.
Okay.
5 months.
So, in any case, if he had decided, okay, well, this is going to, and really, his kind of cancer, the multiple myeloma cancer, is supposed to be a very painful death. So, which...
I was already in a...
So, most, if he had gotten, and he was in a lot of pain at that point. So, he could have, if he hadn't been the kind of person that was a fighter, he could have just went along with that diagnosis, and had they had medically assisted death, I don't know what it's actually.
Euthanasia.
Yeah.
But euthanasia, euthanasia is...
But if they'd had that at the time, and honestly, it would have been wrong for a doctor, morally wrong, for a doctor who is treating people to try to promote health, try to keep them alive. It's wrong anyway for that kind of, for somebody who's trying to keep somebody healthy to actually suggest death as an option anyway. But had they done that then, that would have been horrible. But, and a lot of people in James's situation, probably if that was available, they might have went for it. But
well,
here
I'd
he
heard
is.
about a case when I got back after going through my first stem cell therapy about a guy who'd been diagnosed, had the offer or a possibility of a stem cell therapy, and who just killed themselves.
Oh, wow.
Well, it's a tough
Yeah.
disease. It's not fun.
So anyway, this elderly woman.
This is why I say,
had went into emergency, and somebody suggested.
Have you?
So she has back pain. She goes into the emergency, and somebody suggests that a medical,
you could try
gets
this.
medical advice.
You should try this.
Yeah, and apparently her daughter was interviewed too on the radio and saying her mother is a very healthy woman and everything. Why they would suggest that? Well, they shouldn't suggest it anyway.
Okay, when it should be not a misdemeanor for just suggesting the possibility. It should be a felony if you are counseling someone to do it. Like, Grandma, you're a real burden on us. Like, can't you just handle that? That should be, and any suggestion of that, felony, jail term. Medical professionals should not be doing this.
No.
It should be.
Well, it could be a medical professional, but it's by request, and you get an appointment to see that person. But
someone who specializes.
Exactly. They specialize in it, and that is what they do. Not sometimes I keep people alive, and sometimes if they're a burden on society because they're an old person, or maybe they're a cripple in some way, or some other undesirable, then I'm just going to suggest death. Like it can go so very wrong, so very easily.
Yeah.
So, anyway. You have 11 seconds.
Yeah. So medical professionals, don't try this at home, and don't try this at work either.